Welcome back to Dusk Chapters. Dim the lights, settle in, and let the day fall away. Tonight's story is an old one, carried down through many winters, The Fisherman and His Wife. Once, long ago, there lived a fisherman and his wife in a little hut close by the sea. Every day the fisherman went down to the water, and he fished, and he fished. And so it went, one quiet day after another. One afternoon, as he sat with his line dropped deep into the clear water, watching the light shift across the waves, his hook sank down, far down to the bottom. And when he drew it up again, he found he had caught a great flounder. But this was no ordinary fish. The flounder spoke to him, and it said, "Listen, fisherman. I pray you, let me live. I am not truly a flounder. I am an enchanted prince. What good would it do you to kill me? I would not taste well to you. Put me back into the water, and let me swim away." "Well," said the man, "you need not make so many words about it. A fish that can talk I would certainly let swim away." And with that, he set the flounder gently back into the clear water, and the fish sank down, leaving a long streak of blood behind it. Then the fisherman stood up, and went home to his wife in the little hut. "Husband," said the wife, "have you caught nothing today?" "No," said the man. "I did catch a flounder, but he told me he was an enchanted prince, so I let him swim away again." "Did you not wish for anything first?" asked the wife. "No," said the man. "What should I have wished for?" "Ah," said the wife. "It is surely hard to have to live always in this little hut. It is so small and dark, and it smells, and it is not fit to live in. You might at least have wished for a nice little cottage for us. Go back and call him. Tell him we want a little cottage. He will surely give us that." "Ah," said the man, "why should I go back there again?" "Why," said the wife, "you did catch him, and you let him go again. He is sure to do it. Go at once." The man did not quite like to go, but he did not like to oppose his wife either. And so he went down to the sea. When he came there, the water was all green and yellow, and no longer so smooth. He stood by the shore and said, "Flounder, flounder in the sea. Come, I pray thee, here to me. For my wife, good Ilsebil, wills not as I would have her will." Then the flounder came swimming up and said, "Well, what does she want?" "Ah," said the man, "I did catch you, and my wife says I really ought to have wished for something. She does not like to live in a little hut any longer. She would like a cottage." "Go home, then," said the flounder. "She has it all ready." So the man went home, and there sat his wife no longer in the old hut, but in a snug little cottage. She sat on a bench before the door. There was a little garden with hens and ducks, and everything a heart could desire. "Look," said the wife. "Is not this much better?" "Yes," said the husband. "And so it shall remain. Now we will live quite contentedly." "We will think about that," said the wife. And they ate, and they went to bed. And all was well, for a little while. But a week or two passed, and then the wife said, "Listen, husband. This cottage is far too small, and the garden is small. The flounder might have given us a larger house. I should like to live in a great stone castle. Go to the flounder. Tell him to give us a castle." "Ah, wife," said the man, "the cottage is quite good enough. Why should we live in a castle?" "Go along," said the wife. "The flounder can always do that. Go." The man's heart grew heavy, and he did not want to go. He said to himself, "It is not right." But he went all the same. When he came to the sea, the water was purple and dark blue and grey and thick, and no longer green and yellow. But it was still smooth. And he stood there and said, "Flounder, flounder in the sea. Come, I pray thee, here to me. For my wife, good Ilsebil. Wills not as I would have her will. Well, what does she want now? Said the flounder. Ah, said the man, half sorrowfully, she wants to live in a great stone castle. Go home. She is standing before the door, said the flounder. Then the man went home, and there stood a great stone palace. His wife was just going up the steps to go in. She took him by the hand and said, "Come in with me." And inside there were halls of marble, and servants, and rooms hung with tapestry, and tables of gold. And behind the house was a garden, and a wood 1/2 a mile long, with deer and hares and everything one could wish for. Now, said the man, is not this beautiful? Now we will stay in this fine castle, and be content. We will think about it, said the wife. We will sleep upon it. And they went to bed. The next morning the wife awoke first. It was just daybreak, and from her bed she saw the beautiful country lying before her. Her husband was still stretching himself, when she poked him in the side with her elbow and said, "Husband, get up and look out of the window. Could we not be the king over all that land? Go to the flounder. Tell him we want to be king." "Ah, wife," said the man, "why should we be king? I do not want to be king." "Well," said the wife, "if you will not be king, I will be king. Go to the flounder. I will be king." "Ah, wife," said the man, "why do you want to be king? I do not like to say it to him." "And why not?" said the wife. "Go this moment. I must be king." So the man went, quite unhappy that his wife wanted to be king. It is not right, he thought. And he did not want to go, but yet he went. And when he came to the sea, it was all dark grey, and the water heaved from below and had a foul smell. He stood there and said, "Flounder, flounder in the sea. Come, I pray thee, here to me. For my wife, good Ilsebil, wills not as I would have her will." "Well, what does she want now?" said the flounder. "Alas," said the man, "she wants to be king." "Go home." "She is king already," said the flounder. And so the man went home, and when he came near the palace, he saw that it had grown much larger, with a great tower and splendid ornaments upon it. And his wife was sitting upon a throne of gold and diamonds, with a great crown of gold upon her head, and a scepter of pure gold in her hand. On either side of her stood her maids in a row, each one a head shorter than the last. "Well, wife," said the man, looking upon her, "are you king now?" "Yes," said she. "I am king." And when he had stood and looked at her, he said, "Ah, wife, what a fine thing it is to be king. Now we will wish for nothing more." "Nay, husband," said the wife, growing restless. "The time hangs heavy upon me. I can bear it no longer. Go to the flounder. I am king, but now I must be emperor too." "Alas, wife," said the man. "Why do you want to be emperor?" "Husband," said she, "go to the flounder. I will be emperor." "Ah, wife," said the man, "he cannot make you emperor." "I do not like to say that to the fish. There is only one emperor in the land. Emperor the flounder cannot make you, that he cannot." "What?" said the wife. "I am king, and you are but my husband. Will you go this moment? If he can make a king, he can make an emperor. I will be emperor. Go." So he was forced to go. And as he went, the man felt quite afraid. And he thought to himself, "This will not end well. Emperor is too shameless. The flounder will be tired at last." And when he came to the sea, it was all black and thick, and boiling up from below, so that it threw up bubbles. And such a sharp wind blew over it that it curdled, and the man was filled with dread. But he stood there and said, "Flounder, flounder in the sea. Come, I pray thee, here to me. For my wife, good Ilsebil. Wills not as I would have her will. Well, what does she want now? Said the flounder. Alas, said the man, she wants to be emperor. Go home, said the flounder. She is emperor already. So the man went home, and there he found his wife sitting on a throne that was one great piece of gold, and it was full 2 miles high. She wore a great golden crown that was 3 yards high, set with diamonds and rubies. In one hand she held the scepter, and in the other the imperial globe. On both sides of her stood her guards in 2 rows, and there were princes and dukes among them. The man went and stood among them and said, Wife, are you emperor now? Yes, said she. I am emperor. Ah, wife, he said, and he looked at her a long while. How well it becomes you to be emperor. Now surely we will be content. Husband, said she, why are you standing there? I am emperor now, but I will be pope too. Go to the flounder. Alas, wife, said the man. What will you not want? You cannot be pope. There is but one pope in all of Christendom. The flounder cannot make you that. Husband, said she, I will be pope. Go this instant. I must be pope this very day. No, wife, said the man. I do not like to tell him that. It will not do. It is too much. The flounder cannot make you pope. Husband, what nonsense, said the wife. If he can make an emperor, he can make a pope. Go this moment. I am emperor, and you are but my husband. Will you go? Then the man was frightened and went. But he felt quite faint, and he shook and trembled, and his knees knocked together. A great storm came sweeping over the land. The clouds flew, and it grew as dark as the black of night. The leaves fell from the trees, and the water roared and boiled and dashed upon the shore. In the distance he saw ships firing their guns in their distress, tossing and rolling upon the waves. And he stood upon the shore, and in the midst of the wind and the roaring he could hardly hear his own words, but he said, Flounder, flounder in the sea. Come, I pray thee, hear to me. For my wife, good Ilsebil, wills not as I would have her will. Well, what does she want now? Said the flounder. Alas, said the man. She wants to be pope. Go home, said the flounder. She is pope already. So he went home, and he found a great church, ringed about with palaces. He pressed through the crowd. Inside, everything was lit with 1,000 candles, and his wife was clad all in gold, and she sat upon a throne that was still higher, and she wore 3 great golden crowns. About her stood all the clergy, and on either side there burned 2 rows of candles, the largest as thick and as tall as the greatest tower, down to the very smallest kitchen candle. Wife, said the man, and he looked at her steadily, are you pope now? Yes, said she. I am pope. Ah, wife, he said. How well it is that you are pope. Now surely there is nothing left above you. Now you must be content, for there is nothing greater to be. I will think about that, said the wife. And they both went to bed. But she was not content, and her greed would not let her sleep. She lay thinking, all through the night, what there might yet be for her to become. Now the man slept well and soundly, for he had walked a great deal that day. But the wife could not sleep at all, and tossed from one side to the other the whole night through, always thinking what more there was left for her to be, and she could think of nothing higher. At last the sun began to rise, and when she saw the red light of the dawn, she sat up in bed and looked at it. And as she watched the sun come up through the window, a thought seized her. Ha, she thought. Could not I too command the sun and the moon to rise? Husband, she said, and she poked him in the ribs with her elbow. Wake up. Go to the flounder. I want to be like unto God. The man was still half asleep, but this gave him such a fright that he fell out of bed. "Alas, wife," said he, "what are you saying? Be like unto God? We cannot ask for that. It is too much. Be content, I beg you, and stay as Pope." Then the wife fell into a rage, and her hair flew wildly about her face. She kicked him and cried, "I will not endure this. I will not endure it a moment longer. Will you go?" Then he put on his trousers and ran away like a madman. But outside, the storm raged so that he could scarcely keep his feet. Houses and trees were blown down, the mountains trembled, and rocks rolled into the sea. The sky was pitch black, and it thundered and lightened, and the sea came in with waves as high as church towers and mountains, all crested with white foam. And he cried out, but he could not hear his own words. "Flounder, flounder in the sea! Come, I pray thee, here to me. For my wife, good Ilsebil, wills not as I would have her will." "Well, what does she want now?" said the flounder. "Alas," said the man, "she wants to be like unto God." "Go home," said the flounder. "She is sitting again in the old hut." And there they are sitting to this very day, the fisherman and his wife, in the same little hut by the sea. And so our story ends, as the oldest stories often do, not with a punishment, but with a returning. For the sea gave, and the sea took back, and left the two of them just where they had begun. Rest now. Let your wants grow quiet, and be content with the little hut and the wide, forgiving sea. Sleep well. And I will see you at the next dusk, for the next chapter.